Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the Dirty Wave M8, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Oliver Green, just to continue his question from yesterday, asks how you can basically run audio from the M8 to the SP404 Mark II, use it as an external effect, and then re-render it and capture it back in the M8. I've done a video on this, doing this with the Korg Chaos Pad Mini 2S a while ago, but why not? I figured we'll go over this for the SP404 Mark II. So the important thing that we'll go over a bunch of notes, but the important thing you really need here is this is just a standard headphone splitter. It's just going TRS to TRS and TRS. This is going to allow us to monitor on one of the outputs, so we can go to our mixer, and then the other one's going to allow us to send it back to the line in on the M8. I'm going to go over all the connections here, what it is. Be careful of feedback loops, give you those warnings and all that stuff. But first up, we are just connected line out currently going to the mixer. I'm just going to create a really quick pattern here. Let's just go, I'm just going to go load a loop here. So we're going to go edit, sampler, load. Let's go to samples, style, house, loop masters. We'll go grab a sounds and effects, maybe wave loop. We want wave loops, drums, and fun, Euler drum full. Cool. So I get this loaded. All I need to do is just drop the single note, and if I hit play, should be good. Sounds a little low. So I'm going to make sure when I redo all the connections we have F0. And another thing to know is when you go when you want to do like this rendering that I'm going to go over, you're going to need to make sure you have a name set. So we're just going to go set random. Hyper Winter sounds like a really cool track name, so we'll see what we get out of here. But for the moment, I can hit play. You can at least kind of hear it. Cool. Well, this connection goes. That's up first. So we need to get the audio from the M8 over to the SP404 Mark II. I have a 1/8 inch TRS to 1/4 inch TS, so we can get our line out to line in on the SP404 Mark II. So we're just going to go 1/4 inch here, and then we're going to go line inputs on the SP404 Mark II. Cool. Next up, as I said, we need this splitter. What this is going to do is allow us to, I'm just going to go through the front here because it's just easier than getting a whole ton of cables here. But we're going to go here and just go to the headphone jack. And now we have two outputs. A thing to know when you do a splitter like this, it does subtly drop the volume, I don't know, like -4 to -6 dB roughly. So you do need to accommodate for that. Make sure you're just listening as you do this, because you might hear something and be like, boy, that just sounds quieter than I expected. Or, you know, depending on what you have your volume settings set to, it may be louder, but just listen, because it's fairly hard to gain stage these things when you have all these connections going. So first up, this output had been going line out of the M8. We're just going to take it now from the SP404 Mark II, and I should be able to hit play and go ext source. We can hear it again. Just to make sure we're reducing our line noise, I'm going to go to F8. I could go to FF, but I do worry about clipping on the inputs on the SP404 Mark II, so I found, for me at least, F8's usually pretty good. But we can now hear this, which is cool. And I'm going to say always and forever, make sure you're careful, because what the next step we're going to do is go output here, back to the input. And that would, under normal circumstances, create a feedback loop. But if you go check here, I've got input right above my thumb says 0, 0. That means that it's not monitoring the line in. And you know, the USB, we don't have any USB connections, but I would just check both of these. I just always tend to keep them at 0, 0. What we want to do is connect here and connect here. And now we have completed the loop. So no feedback loop because this is 0, 0. We're good. But this allows us to monitor. We can hear in our headphones what's going on. So I can turn on like tape effect and get this, like, that sounds cool. So let's say I want to record this. let's stop. We're going to let it fade out. And what do we want to do? Well, I've got the name set, so it's just going to start naming loops with this hyperwinter. And to actually have it go do this rendering process, I do Shift Option. It's going to select it, so you can see that that's now selected. And if I double tap Edit, so just tap it 2 times, you're going to say, by default, it's going to say Quick Render. We got Real Time and then External USB. We want External USB, which is going to say send the audio out, over, and then record whatever you get back from line in. And again, because of how we have this set up and we don't have monitoring, we're not going to get a feedback loop. So I'm just going to tap Edit again. Now you can hear, we get that cool rhythmic sound going. We hear a tail. We didn't capture the tail. Let's say we want that though. Well, before we do that, let's go just show you what happened. We go back to instruments. We've now recorded instrument 1. If I go edit, we can see, we can hear. We don't need it. We don't need this twice. I just had it doubled up. So a thing to keep an eye on when you're doing this. So that's just what we just recorded. So let's say we do want the tail though. I think this is an 8-bar or 4-bar loop. So I'm going to come in, and because it's 4 bars, I went 0, 0, and then just did FEs the rest of the way to let it fade out. I'm just going to do another 4. I'm just going to doubling the length of this. So hopefully my intent is record the 4 bars with the effect, and then we'll let it fade out those extra hits. And just going to do the same process, Shift Option, double tap Edit, make sure it says External USB, tap it again, let it play, and then there we go. Now we get the tail. So that's like something else that we can work with, which if we want, and we're getting a lot of blank space, but the M8 just streams off of the SD card, so it generally doesn't matter. I'm going to turn the effect off though. Let's go create an 11. Let's say we're going to double tap for the phrase. And by default, it's going to use whatever instrument was the last instrument that you had created. So it makes it pretty quick to just drop in whatever you just recorded here. And what we have rendered now does have the tail. So we can do some fun stuff with this, because now I can come in, and let's say I just want to play the tail. I can come in and go to current instrument and go STA. If I set it to 80, you can hear it'll just play the tail. So there's a very, it's like, as long as you're doing the math, like it's pretty easy to just kind of come through and grab things. If I don't like that, I can just have it start from the beginning. So you can hear, starts dry, then goes into having the effect going. So you can kind of hear it pulsing in and out. But we have multiple versions of this that we can now play with and do some fun stuff. Anyway, Oliver, I hope this helps you out. If you're looking for what the cables are and stuff, go grab the Chaos Pad Mini 2S video that I did. I went through and talked about like what cables I was using, and otherwise, you really just need a pretty standard headphone splitter. This will work for you. I'll see if I can find it and drop it in the description for you. Everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.